Welcome back to Kaleidoscope. Now we take you to Bootjack Mountain in Ridgway, an Appalachian arts studio. Home to the Boni family, its goal is to inspire and help other artists create their masterpieces. The Bonis are also big chainsaw carvers. They host a rendezvous every year that brings carvers from around the world to Ridgway.
My husband decided he and his twin brother were going to try chainsaw carving. And a couple years into that, he said, I'm quitting my job and I'm going to be a full-time chainsaw carver. And it was like, okay.
I never could settle on one art form. I always had to try everything I could. So I've been through a raft of different art disciplines. When I saw my first wood carving, a 10-foot eagle, I just could not believe that you could make something that was taller than you in art. Sculpture is really an expensive thing to get into. To realize that I could make my own sculpture that was taller than me out of wood with a saw, I just had to try it. I have a twin brother, Randy. Nobody ever taught us how to do it, so we were all on our own as far as which bars to use and which chainsaw to use, and all the equipment stuff was deep too, as well as just the technical side of how do you make those cuts. So it took years to really develop our style, and actually some of that went out into the carving world. We were on the first wave, Randy and I. From our carving rendezvous that we started here at Ridgway with 12 guys, never advertised it or anything, it just grew on its own, and with Liz's help, it just went worldwide.
They started the Rendezvous, which is a gathering of chainsaw carvers. And they came up with this idea, like, who else out there is doing this? And about that time, the internet came out. So it kind of was a win-win situation. It was like you type it in and bing, 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 you know, it just really happened. It has just blossomed and bloomed. It became big rather quickly. It's pretty neat, you know, we bought this old factory. And we had plans to make it into a school. You know, we had a dream, and it doesn't always exactly work that way completely, but we were able to do our chainsaw art and invite Rick's family in, who are all artists, and we'd have the pottery shop. It's been quite nice. It's a production facility at this point, and we still do the Rendezvous. The Rendezvous is entering its 25th year as an event. Carvers actually perform. It's a visual art and a performing art, and I think that's one of the reasons that it is so successful, because the artist is able to make something happen, like right in front of you. And people just love it. When I started going with Rick to shows, my job ended, and I said, well, I'm gonna go with you. You have more fun, you travel. And I went out, and when he would start his saw at a fair, people would run. They would run from all over the fair to see what it was. And I just looked at it and thought, what a marketing opportunity this is. It was brand new. It was booming. It's been a real challenge, but it's also a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work. People don't realize how hard it is. They make it look easy. It's not easy. It's grueling, and it's a workout. You have to be physically fit. You can't just do this and expect to say, oh, I'll do another one, you know, right away.
When I first started carving, it would take 3 days to make a 4-foot standing eagle. Within a year, I had it down to a day. Within probably 5 more years, I could do almost as well in an hour. So with the equipment changes and the knowledge of where to cut and how to make those cuts, and then being in better shape as well. So.
It's an absolute wow factor. People are wowed. They can't believe that this is done with a chainsaw, and they can't believe that it's done in an hour or an hour and a half. We used to do a lot more shows, a lot more fairs and festivals. We did have a booking agent that booked us at fairs and festivals, and over the years we've managed to keep several of them. My daughter started carving, and she and her husband came on board, so now they are doing the fairs and festivals, and we get to sit back and relax a little bit because we're old.
Yes, they've been doing this for a while. Their family is carved all over the U.S. in Ohio, Florida, Wisconsin, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Montana. Oh, and of course, right here in PA. Plus, they've also gone international, carving on the Queen's estate in England, then in Germany, Austria, and Japan. So just a few places. Now after the break, their son-in-law, Joe, shares his life-changing moment that brought him into this. We'll be right back. If you missed the beginning of Kaleidoscope, we're talking with Rick and Liz Boni about their passion for chainsaw carving. It's become a worldwide phenomenon. However, with them stepping back a bit, it's the next generation's turn, and in the process, the generation after that, with their grandkids.
She'd come to a couple rendezvous and met some female carvers that were very inspirational. Zoe just couldn't get over that, so she went back to West Virginia and started to try to learn how to carve and just couldn't quite get there with it. So she actually moved back home, said, oh, I'm going to come back for a month and learn how to carve. So I worked with her every day during that month, and then she never left. She just stayed, and it's been really wonderful to pass it on.
I am married to Zoe, which is Rick and Liz's daughter. Wow, this is just the coolest girl in the world. This is the coolest girl I ever met, and I was just like, I really liked her a lot, and she liked me too, which was really kind of cool because she's beautiful, and it's just amazing that I was like, how could this even be possible, you know? So I was really blessed with that. We just shared a lot of common ground with the way we were interested in things and going out in the woods and carving. I was never really a carver until I met her, and I really got inspired. And I was like, wow, this is like kind of a perfect scenario of something to do, because I always liked drawing and doing kind of like art sort of stuff. And doing the auto body stuff, I kind of was already somewhat of a sculptor. Started carving, and we were pretty wild people back when we first got together. We were pretty young and crazy. I really have to thank God. We started getting into the Bible. It was Jesus. He says, if you hear these words of mine and do them, you're like a wise man who builds his rock on a firm foundation. When the storm comes, your house will stay strong. But if you hear these words of mine and don't do them, you're like a fool who builds on sand. The storm comes and the house blows away. I was like, wow, this really is starting to kind of make some sense. So we really started pursuing that and just trusting our lives to God, and that really kept us strong. We got married and have 3 kids, and we just kept going with this, and what pretty much picking up where like Rick and Liz kind of laid this all out, and they got the shop here, and we're like, well, it's too good of an opportunity to not pursue it. We've had opportunities to go to Montana to competitions to carve. And usually I would be like terrified to leave home. Years ago I'd be like shaking in my boots, like scared of, oh, this could happen, what if this happens? Just take a leap of faith and trust God. If you have that gumption and God says to go somewhere and do something, okay, Lord, I'm trusting you, and He takes care of us every time. It's really amazing. There's lots of cool stories about God taking good care of us. I make eagles on a cross. I give one to our pastor at our church. I said, hey, I want to give this to you as a gift. A friend of mine helped me finish it too. He's like, well, that's really interesting. He's like, you know, our little church down by the river, we put a new foundation under it one time years ago. And they put the church back on the foundation, and the crane put this new steeple with the cross on top of the church. And when the guy unhooked the rigging from the crane and moved it and set the boom down, a bald eagle came and landed on that cross, you know, and that was kind of like his, he's like, I was thinking that was God's stamp of approval, you know. So I do carve some faith-based stuff. Like as far as my carving, how it affects it, I think it affects it in a way where whatever we do, like we're doing it for somebody else too. Our gifts that we've been given are really intended to be a blessing to other people. Like I find myself really carving a lot of things that other people like. Usually I like them too.
see my grandkids picking it up, and I do as much art and music with them as I possibly can. It's been a wonderful thing to share, and it basically made the whole world my family in a certain way. It means more to me than money ever could to share what I can do, you know, and to be able to do that and have people welcome it has just been phenomenal, you know. To be this appreciated in your life, you know, it's amazing.
We've made friends all over the world, and they still come back to Ridgway and visit us, and it's wonderful. Our slogan is life exceeding the dream. So, and it has been. I mean, we've traveled the world. It has opened opportunities and doors, and I mean, it just turned an ordinary life into something magical.